In the bustling heart of Renaissance Germany, where merchants traded and scholars debated, a shadow walked among them. A man feared, hated, and yet necessary. His name was Franz Schmidt. To history, he is remembered not only as an executioner, but as the man who meticulously recorded the deaths of over 390 souls. His story is one of duty, of horror, and of the fine line between justice and cruelty. Nuremberg, late 16th century. The city thrived as a hub of culture, trade, and power. But beneath its golden facade lay crime, corruption, and punishment. And punishment required an executioner. Franz Schmidt was born into this life. His father, Heinrich Schmidt, had been forced into the role of executioner against his will, and the curse passed on to his son. In those days, executioners were outcasts, feared, shunned, forbidden from normal society. Franz did not choose this life. The life chose him. By 1573, Franz Schmidt was officially appointed as the executioner of Nuremberg. For 45 years, he carried out his grim duty. He was no ordinary killer. He was meticulous, disciplined, and above all, methodical. In his diary, he recorded every sentence carried out, every thief, every murderer, every witch, every broken body left in his wake. And through his words, we see the darkest face of justice in Renaissance Germany. The methods of execution were brutal, designed not just to kill, but to terrify. The sword for beheadings, the rope for hangings, the wheel, a nightmare of twisted limbs and shattered bones, burning for heresy and witchcraft, drowning for women condemned of infanticide. Each punishment was chosen to fit the crime or to send a message, and Franz Schmidt was the hand of that message. Imagine the marketplace at dawn. The air is cold, but thousands gather. Vendors sell bread and beer. Children sit on shoulders. Whispers ripple through the crowd. At the center stands a raised platform, the scaffold. Franz Schmidt enters, wearing the gloves of his office. In his hand gleams the executioner's sword. The condemned kneels, trembling. The crowd holds its breath. And with a single stroke, swift, practiced, merciless, the head falls. The crowd erupts. Justice, they believe, has been served. But executions were not always so clean. Some were designed to prolong suffering. The breaking wheel was among the most feared. The condemned was tied to a wheel, their limbs shattered one by one with an iron cudgel. Bones splintered. Screams pierced the air. Sometimes death took hours. Franz Schmidt himself carried out dozens of wheelings. In his diary, he wrote them plainly, as if listing a daily chore. Today, I broke a thief on the wheel. So casual, so cold. Yet Franz Schmidt was not a sadist. His precision earned him respect. He believed executions should be swift, not clumsy. He practiced with his sword, honing his skill until he could decapitate with a single blow. Botched executions were shameful, cruel, and unprofessional. And Franz prided himself on being professional. To the crowd, he was both feared and admired. A monster in one moment, a necessary servant of justice in the next. Still, society never forgot what he was, an executioner, a man of blood. He barred from guilds, shunned in church, and forced to live apart from respectable citizens. People crossed the street to avoid his touch, for to touch the hand of the executioner was to invite bad luck. Franz lived between two worlds, honored by the law, but rejected by the people. His diary reveals more than executions. It reveals the crimes of his age. Thieves hanged for stealing bread. Women drowned for killing newborns in desperation. Men broken on the wheel for murder. Each entry is a window into the harsh justice of the 16th century, a world where punishment was not about mercy, but about fear. And Franz Schmidt, with his pen, preserved it all. One case stands out. A woman accused of witchcraft, condemned to the flames. Schmidt recorded it as he always did. Burned a witch. But behind those 3 words lies a horror we can barely imagine. Bound to a stake, flames licking her body, the screams rising as the crowd jeered. For Franz, it was duty. For the woman, it was hell. Over 45 years, Franz Schmidt executed 394 people. But he also carried out over 300 minor punishments: flogging, branding, amputations, public humiliation. He was not only an executioner, but a surgeon of suffering. Each act carefully recorded, each life reduced to a line in his ledger. History remembers kings and nobles with statues and songs. But Franz Schmidt remembers ordinary criminals, their names preserved only because he killed them. The punishments were more than death. They were theater. In Nuremberg and across the empire, justice was a performance, and the scaffold was its stage. Franz Schmidt was the leading actor, his victims the unwilling cast. Floggings were carried out in the town square, naked backs whipped until flesh split and blood ran, branding irons pressed against skin, leaving permanent marks of shame. Amputations were ordered for thieves, a hand, a finger, sometimes an ear. The crowd watched, cheered, or jeered. For them, punishment was both entertainment and warning. Yet Franz Schmidt did not revel in cruelty. Paradoxically, he trained as a healer. Executioners often studied medicine, bones, wounds, blood. After all, who knew the body better than the man who broke it? Schmidt became skilled in surgery. Outside his duties, he treated injuries, set bones, and performed bloodletting. And though shunned as an outcast, people came to him in secret for healing. A strange irony: the hand that killed by day could save by night. But his life was never his own. The role of executioner was inherited, like a curse. His children, too, bore the stain of infamy. They were barred from trades, refused in marriage, marked forever by their father's profession. Franz carried this weight with dignity. He was no brute, but a man bound by duty. He saw himself as a servant of justice, not a monster. Yet the blood he spilled haunted him, etched into every line of his diary. Executions varied with crime. High treason demanded the sword. Robbery could mean the wheel. Infanticide brought drowning. A barrel filled with water, the woman forced under until life fled. Arsonists burned in flames of their own making. Each method was chosen for its symbolism. Punishment was not only about death, but about spectacle. The crowd was meant to see, to fear, to remember. And Franz Schmidt ensured they did. On the wheel, A man could linger for hours, bones shattered, limbs twisted, screams unending. The executioner decided how long he lived. A merciful strike to the chest might end it swiftly, but mercy was rare. Franz's diary notes these deaths with chilling brevity. Broken on the wheel. Quartered alive. Burned. 3 words to erase a life. Crowds demanded drama. They wanted to see justice with their own eyes. Children climbed rooftops. Merchants paused their trade. Housewives whispered prayers as they watched. And the condemned, they prayed for quick death. But quick was not always given. For Franz, precision mattered.